Chapter 15, Careers in Teaching Physical Education. This is Professor Clemens. Why study pedagogy of physical activity? Pedagogy, or sport pedagogy of physical activity, is the study of teaching physical activity. Effective instructors understand their subject and know how to convey it in a manner that will lead to success for all students at levels that meet their individual needs. The importance of pedagogical knowledge is a person with a background in pedagogy should be able to answer these questions. How will you get and keep the students' attention? How much time should you spend talking? And how much time should students spend practicing? Will your methods work? How will you structure class to ensure that students have adequate time during class to improve their fitness levels? And how will you motivate students to engage in physical activity outside of the school settings and make appropriate nutritional selections? Let's talk about this as it pertains to teaching physical education. What do? They teach in public and private schools, elementary, middle, high school, adaptive physical education, curriculum specialists. They could be a coach. See additional information in Chapter 16. Recreational leaders, instructors at corporate fitness centers or community recreation centers. Specialists or skill instructors, for example, golfer, tennis pro, swim instructor, professors, researchers. Certification and continuing education, degree from accredited teacher education program, passing Proxies 1 and Proxies 2 tests as required by individual states, state license requirement, continuing education requirements vary by state, and additional certifications may be required for coaching and other specializations. Key pedagogical principles based on research. Begin to develop expertise by acquiring experience, new knowledge, provide appropriate practice, provide a high amount of academic learning time, always be concerned about class management and discipline, and access for student learning. Provide clear, specific feedback, develop knowledge about alternative curricular models, ensure an equitable learning environment that addresses the individual needs of all learners, consider how your expectations influence students, and be mindful of teacher-coach role conflict. The expertise requires ongoing education. Teaching experience alone does not guarantee expertise and requires implementation of research-based best practices into instruction. Appropriate practical student experiences. For students to succeed at any skill, they must be exposed to appropriate practice. The principle of quality and the principle of quantity are discussed in Chapter 3. Active learning time. Time on task, also called engaged time, is defined as the time students spend actually doing physical activity or sport. Students should spend at least 50% of the time appropriately engaged, performing correctly with frequent success. This is called academic or functional learning or learning time. Class management means proper organization is critical for teaching effectiveness and maximal student engagement and learning. Discipline means teaching rules, enforcing them when they are broken, and rewarding exceptional behavior. Instructors can best assist students as they learn rules and routines by having high expectations, being firm but warm, developing clear rules, and describing how rules will be enforced. Accountability. Students learn accountability through clearly stated and consistently enforced expectations. Instructors demonstrate with-itness by knowing what's happening in the learning environment and by displaying this awareness through oral or other communication with students. Educators who ignore off-task behavior encourage further manipulation by students. Additional students engaging in off-task behavior, increased number of competent bystanders, well-behaved students who consistently avoid participation without attracting notice. Specific feedback. Common instructor mistakes when providing feedback. Feedback is often incorrect. Teachers sometimes focus on an aspect of performance that does not require feedback while neglecting the area that does require feedback, and teachers provide less feedback during gameplay. Feedback provided during gameplay may be valuable. It gives all students information about ways to improve. Teachers can increase the probability that instruction will be effective by providing appropriate learning activities, maximal active learning time, and correct prompt and specific feedback. Alternative curriculums. The elective curriculum, the fitness curriculum, the sport education model, the wilderness and adventure education curriculum, the social development model, and the teaching games for understanding model. Effective teachers are concerned with implementing curricular models that are interesting to students and produce the greatest opportunity for students to learn. Equity issues and student needs. Common forms of discrimination. Having a bias against students with less ability, such as using elimination games. Singling out obese and out of shape students and in a negative way, allowing others to ridicule or embarrass low skilled or obese students, neglecting to adjust the teaching approach for students who carry personal problems into the learning environment. Teacher-coach role conflict. Role conflict is defined as two or more incompatible roles that are difficult to perform simultaneously. Role withdrawal or retreatism occurs when one role is selected over another and results in role suffering. Both teaching and coaching are satisfying career choices, but people must be careful to fulfill the obligations of each role if they elect to engage in both simultaneously. Although professional practice and knowledge is a powerful source of information, such knowledge is not a substitute for thoughtful consideration of the available research literature on effective teaching. The Journal of Teaching and Physical Education is a good publication that features an article on this type of research. Let's look at this figure. The role and expectations, the curriculum, social climate, colleagues versus isolation, and subject matter and individual status autonomy equal political, economic, organizational, and personal social factors influencing the workplace. NASPE standards for initial physical education teachers. 1. Scientific and theoretical knowledge. 2. Skill-based and fitness-based competence. 3. Planning and implementation. 4. Instructional delivery and management. 5. Impact on student learning and professionalism. Teachers now assume a major role in the Leading the School initiative to improve the health and fitness levels of students. New public laws recognize the value of maintaining physical education and health in the school setting. And you can look at the Public Law 108-265. National School Lunch Act requires a school-wide plan addressing physical activity and nutrition. Successful physical education teachers utilize innovative instructional strategies and novel curriculums, integrate physical education with other subject matters, utilize unique ways to promote learning progressions, promote their programs, public relations, and have supportive colleagues and administrators. They also have adequate funding, display exemplary classroom management strategies, engage in professional development activities, offer after-school programs for students and adults, model athletic skill and fitness, and promote equitable learning settings. Advice: never stop learning to teach. Embrace the belief that learning is a lifelong process. Join professional associations. Start now with student membership. Remain current on research literature and strive to be your best. Remain committed to student learning, effective teaching practices, ongoing development of subject matter, expertise, professional involvement, and believing you can make a difference in the lives of children.